Yo ho ho! What's going on, guys? This is Grim Reaper bringing you guys a One Punch Man When Not Something review. We haven't done a review in a very long time. We usually cover it in the discussions, and if not in the live reactions, I usually do a little bit of talking. But for this one, I wanted to address a few more things as to what could happen next, as we have a huge pivotal point. Usually, whenever there's a big fight presentation in the mangas that we read, I try to do an extra evaluation, such as, Escudo versus Meliodas, for example, the Seven Deadly Sins, where we do an extra look at what's going to happen, and we give our predictions and our thoughts before it actually comes out. It's a monumental moment in the series, so to see our before and after is pretty cool always. So let's start off with the chapter, though. Mizuki was looking fucking amazing in the cover page. Spectacular. Monata always brings it with the art, and this was well needed, and you did a good job, bro. Very, very good job. I was very pleasant. I was very pleased to see that drawn, and I'm hoping to see a lot more of that, not only of her, and also to get more girls introduced into the story like her. Right now we really only have Tatsumaki, Fubuki, Mizuki herself, and then one or two girls along the side, but none that are really like prominent like the ones that I just mentioned. Giro being a villain and probably being dispatched pretty soon within like the next 10 chapters, and Dos S just leaving, like they leave a void. So hopefully we get some more females that are just as attractive and that can contribute to the story like they do. Giro versus Tatsumaki was badass. So the whole like collapsing the room and trying enclose her and stuff like that, it didn't work out for her, but it was pretty fucking cool looking the way Monata did it, showing a different manner in which to use the psychic capabilities. We've seen her use that concept before, though. Actually, both of them have, like turning like huge objects or turning things into like little balls. Tatsumaki herself turned 100 Eyes octopus into like a little meatball thing that was all circular, and then Giro turned a few of the fodder monsters into a cube recently to show her capabilities. So to show off the skill, then to have Tatsumaki break free from it, it showed a difference in power. It was pretty overwhelming actually, and then Tatsumaki proceeded to just annihilate Giro, like completely body her. We also learned that Giro has not a second form, that this puppet body, fat meat puppet, as Tatsumaki described in one of the translations, isn't the real Giro. Apparently it's being controlled. Now we don't know the exact manner. We obviously know it's through psychic capabilities, but in the podcast it was mentioned that it's possible that this may be like a transponder type situation where like you're sending psychic energy, receiving psychic energy, like a battery type situation. So we'll see how it plays out exactly with the puppet. It was able to power up as well, and we were told that in the previous backstory, it was mentioned in the podcast as well, we were enlightened by Zonin that Evil Eye had a surgical process done to him by Giro, in which several psychic eyes were implanted into him, and that helped raise his overall psychic capabilities. And it seems that may be the case for Giro's puppet as well. It's weird that like they spawned out of nowhere, so I guess like on a regular basis they're closed, but you can't really see the orifices or a slit where the orifices would be for the eyes. So it seems like they just came out of nowhere, which is pretty cool as well. Either way, it looks gross though. That was a really nasty design. I didn't like it that much, but it looked badassery in terms of like a scary monster type. So it fit the description. Unfortunately, though, it got bodied immediately by Tatsumaki, overwhelmingly with power. So we know there's still a huge difference there. Like I said before, we don't know how the meat puppet situation works, if Giro is able to use all her power within the puppet, or if being herself present in the fight would make her a lot stronger. So we'll see how that turns out, hopefully within the next few chapters. There's a lot of speculation that we might not get the conclusion of the fight immediately, such as what's happened with Puri and Neon. I hope that doesn't happen. There's two current prospects of Saitama versus Orochi and Tatsumaki versus Giro Part 2 are incredible, and to have them not addressed or to have some other thing happen or to go to like Puri versus Neon now would be super disappointing. This is a hype moment, and I'm super excited to see what's going to happen next with that outcome of both of the fights. Manata did an amazing job with the art for Tatsumaki. She looks fucking amazing the entire time. I believe we saw a picture similar to that on the cover page before. I'm not sure, but this is a variation of it, and it looks very, very, very good. The detail in the entire the entire chapter was like freaking amazing, from Tatsumaki throwing those the pebbles that were caused from Giro's attack to be used to rip her off her arm, to like Tatsumaki like literally using her psychic energy and power to like twist Giro around and rip her limbs off and turn into like a ripped up carcass in the air. The different things that Tatsumaki was able to do were depicted amazingly in this chapter, and Giro as well. That fight sequence was pretty good. I'm excited to see more psychic fights. We usually don't get to see Tatsumaki do a lot because she can do a lot. So one of the biggest displays we got of her was against the Dark Matter Thieves ship. She did a lot, but it wasn't wasn't able to bring down the ship. What kind of great feat that would have been. But she did just fine. She hasn't really been hurt ever in the series as far as I can remember. So to have her be confronted in a situation like this, being so confident, it wasn't unprecedented, and it's not like I didn't expect her to have this cocky attitude, but I was expecting more of a fight. So let's see what happens with all the rest of the situations. As we saw in the fight, Giro did indeed try to call Orochi as people were predicting, and it didn't work out because Saitama saved the day. Now, quote unquote, if we look at an alternative, what would have happened if Saitama wasn't there? If Saitama was still doing something else or just walking around? You know, was it going to be like fucking Orochi and Giro versus Tatsumaki? And how was that going to turn out? We actually asked in one of the poll questions what the people thought about Tatsumaki versus Orochi, and it was pretty even down the board. I was surprised. I thought Orochi would be overwhelmingly the winner, but apparently people do have hold Tatsumaki in high esteem. So I'm looking forward to see what she pulls out and her physical displays. It's going to be super cool. Now, here we go with the most controversial part of Orochi versus Saitama. So, we know all the people that Saitama's beat immediately, quickly, and easily. Koketsu, Carnage Kabuto, Elder Centipede in a single punch. You know, all those huge-ass creatures that it takes several monsters, several S-Class even on certain occasions to defeat. Saitama beats them easily. So, to have him facing the big bad of the arc, Orochi himself, the strongest monster of the association, it's kind of daunting. I don't think Orochi's strong enough to take or deal with Saitama, especially with the whole trope about acknowledging somebody's strength. That doesn't necessarily make you as strong as the person you're acknowledging. It just means that like you're strong yourself, but that you know that this person's strong as well. So I'm interested to see how this dynamic is going to play out later on. Because as we know, some of the S-Class heroes, they don't necessarily know the strength, the true physical prowess of King. Even though King does have an amazing power, his physical prowess isn't compared to some of them. So they don't necessarily know that, but I don't think they're oblivious in terms of strength. They're not weak. So I can't necessarily call out the ability to observe somebody's power level to be of the strong, because some strong can't do that. So I think there's a plot point that Monata's playing with, and we're going to see a little bit more of that. So that's one of the key reasons as to why I'm not too hype for Orochi to fight Saitama, because that right there tells me that he may not be as strong as Saitama at all, like even in consideration, like even like make him try type shit. We shouldn't expect it to happen this early in the series, but you would want to see one or two glimpses of it. Boros technically showed us something, but as Boros himself mentioned, he wasn't even trying. So Orochi's here. He's strong. Monata himself has mentioned that Orochi could probably take one or two punches from Saitama. So let's see if that plays out to be in the next chapter. This could potentially be one of the greatest chapters of One Punch Man, just like the Orochi fight, or excuse me, just like the Boros fight was earlier on. So if this happens, if 108, 109, 110, whatever it may be, turns out to be Saitama versus Orochi, I'm here for it. I'd love to see that, and then whatever happens after that, I'm cool to see. Some individuals have expressed the very credible opinion that if this final fight happens before all the other preliminary fights, then the preliminary fights will have as much importance or as much hype. And agree to a certain extent that the final fight is obviously supposed to be hyper than the other ones, but this leaves the other fights a lot more open to varying results. We don't have to win in order to be able to, to call it a victory now. We've already technically won, so they could lose. We could technically, realistically see every other hero lose if Monata wanted to, and it would fit in alright. It would keep up the the looming problem and issue of the Monster Association. It seems like a problem that's going to be covered over major several arcs already. So this does seem like the conclusion of that. That's not a very, very likely outcome. I was just saying that's a possibility. But I don't just want to entertain an argument where Saitama versus Orochi doesn't happen next chapter. Like, it could happen next chapter. It might not. And maybe even the numbers are saying it's going to be like 80% it won't happen. But that 20% is enough for me to, talk about it. I love this shit. That was about it for this chapter, though. I'm super excited, as I already mentioned, for what's going to happen next. Like, subscribe. Check out the One Punch Man podcast, where we elaborate on our ideas about the chapter a lot more with a bunch of different content creators and the community leads for One Punch Man. Check out all their content channels as well in the link in the description. So we'll see you boys later on, man. Yo ho ho!